Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media, and today's video I want to review Predator on 4K UHD Blu-ray. Now, as a big Predator fan, I was pumped to see this come to the 4K format, so let's go over the movie very briefly. Now, I'm sure most of you have seen this, but if you have not, this is an action sci-fi classic. You have to go see this, full of action through and through, and Predator himself is just an icon. Go and see this. It is awesome. Now let's get to the picture quality, what you guys came here for. Now, I was very nervous to get this released because the last Blu-ray was a DNR mess. All the faces looked waxy like the Terminator 2 release we got recently, and it just took a ton of detail away. And I'm glad to say that the grain is back and intact on this release. So what we get here is a 4K digital intermediate. This was shot on 35mm film. So like I said, the grain is intact, and there is a lot of it. So those grain haters may not love this transfer, but I know that most people who are a fan of Predator want that grain back because what that grain brought was a ton of detail. We get a massive increase over the Blu-ray, in my opinion, in the detail department when it comes to close-ups. Close-ups really show every bead on faces, all the dirt on faces, all the wear and tear. Really, really good close-ups. Now, I will say that the wider shots and the establishing shots and like the peeking through shots in the forest are a bit softer than the close-ups, but at times you really will be wowed by this image when you're following Arnie through the forest or something. You'll see how crystal clear this image is. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still a dirty image. That's how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look gritty. It's supposed to look grainy. That's how it was intended, and it still does look that way, so keep it in mind. Next thing I'm going to hit on is the black levels. I did find the black levels pretty deep and inky throughout, but I feel like that did hinder it sometimes. It was a bit hard to make things out at times when it was kind of pitch black in the forest. Now let's get to the HDR usage, and I found the HDR usage to be good in this and nice and subtle. It wasn't overly used, but there were nice luscious greens in the forest. Where there was gunfire, there was a lot of pop and vibrancy to the gunfire, and stuff like the Predator's heat vision, stuff like that really did pop off the screen, and there was a lot of nuances to those colors that weren't there before. Now, I will say that the shadow detail could have been better, like I said, with those black level parts. I wish there was a bit more shadow detail here and a little easier to make out in the darker scenes, but it was pretty good all around. Now let's get to the audio mix. So the audio mix is a 5.1 mix, and I really wish we got an immersive audio mix like Dolby Atmos or DTS-HD with this. I think it would have benefited greatly with the helicopters and the forest above scenes, but sadly we don't get that. And nothing to complain about on this 5.1 mix. It's nice and dynamic. The surrounds are used nicely, the bass is booming, but what I will say is that the dialogue is super low, so anybody watching without a receiver where you could adjust each channel, you're going to have like your remote in your hand because the dialogue is super low compared to the action, so when an action scene kicks in, your TV will be blaring. So that's my one big complaint with the audio, is just that the dialogue should be raised a bit, so you guys with receivers just raise your center channel a bunch, but otherwise, yeah, that's pretty annoying, but nothing to complain about otherwise. So anyway, guys, I want to do a giveaway, and it's going to actually be for all three Predator movies in 4K HDR. They're currently in 4K HDR on iTunes, so this is an awesome giveaway. So just comment down below your favorite action or sci-fi movie, and I'm going to let this giveaway run for a little bit, take all the comments down below, put them in a randomizer, and announce it, probably on my Predators review. But I did want to do a giveaway, giving it back to the fans, and I'm going to do all three codes in one. So this is a nice giveaway to give back to the community. So anyway, guys, let me know what you thought of this transfer below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.